So this is Warsaw. It's a take on Darkest Dungeon, but instead of being a Cthulhu-inspired dark fantasy, this is an historical wartime drama. So this is my rebel hideout. We're in Warsaw. We're fighting sort of a rebellion against both our departing Nazi overlords and the incoming Soviet conquerors. We're kind of just against everyone. We just want to be free. And we've got all of these little people here that we can talk to. So this is the recruiter who's recruiting new people. There's the guy who helps us plan our new missions. Each of these little people can be clicked on. There's lots of stuff going on here. Down here in the lower left corner, we've got our very specific characters. So actually, yeah, I should tell you this about the way the characters work. So in Darkest Dungeon, you have these classes of characters, and each one of them, is sort of randomly generated, and you start with them, and you can sort of build them over time. It seems like Warsaw starts you with a set of bespoke characters, and they sort of make up the core of your team, but you can also collect random characters. So I've got Martin the Turncoat, Fronic the Scout, Kazmir's the Scoundrel, Jadwiga the Paramedic, and Christoph the Home Army Soldier. And so each of these folks has sort of different capabilities, and most of your dramatic capabilities come from these guys, but then you can also just sort of recruit randos and sort of use them to fill out your squad, especially if most of your squad is injured and you don't want to take them out and risk them dying. You can fill it out with sort of generic folks, which is I think it's sort of a great way to handle the fact that I know in Darkest Dungeon I often felt like I just didn't have enough people to go out. But it's also really easy to make a game like this where none of the characters feel distinct enough. I know that was a problem that I had with the Dark Crystal game. None of the characters felt like they really stood out from each other because they were all drawing from the same set of stats. So this is an interesting way to compromise there, right? To have some bespoke characters that give you sort of a really unique character class and an archetype, but also have a pool of fairly generic characters to sort of to flesh out the team. It's kind of a best of both worlds approach. But let's stop listening to me talk and instead start a new mission. So this is my map of the area. This yellow bar is going to slowly fill up with misery, and it's attrition. And so when I've not played this game all the way through, so I imagine that when these yellow bars fill completely up, these areas will be locked out to me, and I'm not going to have them. And this is kind of the game's a little bit dark. I think you get the sense that eventually you're going to fall to the Soviet tide, and the question is just how long are you going to last before that inevitably happens. So it does have the kind of sort of dread and despair of a Lovecraftian story, but it's also based on real life, which is darker, kind of. But anyway, right now I've still got all 5 of my, is it 5? 6. All 6 of my city districts available. So, looks like there's 3 missions available in areas 1, 6, and 5. So let's do something that's less likely to get me super, super killed. While I'm out here, I get an income, which is how much, economic good I'm doing for the movement while I'm out. There's always a negative 15 that I'm constantly dealing with. And so, the best I can do is probably breaking even. Again, this game is just about barely holding back the tide. Okay, so it looks like the mission in 5 is the one that gets me the most income. High-risk Nazi patrols, though. I have to fight 4 times, which is kind of scary. I get 600 XP for this one. This one's less XP, fewer patrols, less income. This one is less XP. German forces, less of them, less time, decent amount of money. So this one actually feels like it's probably the safest. It's also got only 1 attrition, whereas the other 2 missions, this one's got 2 attrition. So if I don't take this mission, I think this area is going to get even worse than it was. But it's also the one that pays the least and is the most risk for the least reward. So I think I'm going to go with Area 1, deploy here. So to prepare for the mission, we're going to pick which characters to go. So I had a really lucky last mission. It had no conflict in it whatsoever. And so I was able to sort of build everybody up. So I want to take at least 2 of my hardcore central group here. So Okay, so this guy, so you can see these summaries of their abilities. And oh, no, you can't because my face is in the way. Hold on. I'm going to pop up here. So you can see these little text boxes popping up showing, it's like Darkest Dungeon. Each of these abilities can be used from certain squares and affect certain squares. They tried to simplify it in some ways and make it more complicated in others. There's 8 spots characters can occupy now instead of 4, but they tend to affect them in much broader, more consistent swaths. So like this guy, okay, so this guy wants to kind of be in the back. This one should be in the front. This kid should be in the front. He's a kid and he's in war and it's sad. Kristoff should be in the back. Martin should be in the front. And we don't care where... oh, Joita, yeah, she's one of the standard backup folks. Okay, so let's grab... I haven't used this guy a lot, so let's grab this guy and put him... Did I say he needs to be in the front? Yeah, let's put him in the front. Let's get... let's see here. Kristoff in the back. Let's grab one more of these folks. Maybe Jadwiga goes in the front, and then we'll grab sort of a generic person to stick in the back. Like Bartosz. I think that's good. I'm not exactly sure how many I can bring. Can I just bring everybody if I want to? Can I bring even one more person? I don't have enough healers. Maybe I can... Okay, nope, it looks like I gotta bring 4. So I'll bring 4. That's fine. I'm leaving these open spaces blank here, these front spaces blank, because sometimes you can get obstacles that are in the way, which are helpful. And let's see, what else? Gotta make sure I have enough ammo. Kristoff uses heavy ammo sometimes, so I want to have some heavy. I've been running low on long ammo. Actually, let's not bring Bartosz, because he uses long ammo. Let's bring somebody who uses short ammo, like, I haven't used this guy before, I don't think. So, Newamir? I don't know how to say that guy's name. But I'll bring him. So between him, Jadwiga, Martin. Oh, I didn't mean to kick Martin out. What kind of ammo does he use? Looks like it's short ammo. Okay, good. So Kristoff is the only one who uses my more expensive, rarer ammo. The rest of these guys use the shorter stuff, so that's good. So we're going to commence the mission now. And load. Yeah, Wraith points out that this is based on historical events, and the fact that the Doom counter can't be beat is basically accurate. Yeah, and I agree with that assessment. So here's my group. As we're walking around, we're taking time. We only have a certain amount of days to complete the mission, and that's represented by these action points here. So I got 79 action points. As I move, I spend them. So I can't just wander around aimlessly everywhere. Okay, so these are little, like, choice-making points. So let's do this. Your team scouts out an enemy fire team lying discarded in the city's grime ahead. Well, you obviously have no way of inspecting its... firearm. I thought I said fire team. Firearm. No way of inspecting its condition or ammo reserves from your secluded position. It could very well prove to be a valuable find. So I can send someone out to grab it, but they could risk death. Let's see what the... Oh! Oh, no! My companion... Oh, wait, but it's not one of these people? Well, who did I lose? Wait a minute. Okay, this is a part of the game I don't understand. Do I have companions that are not these 4? And if so, how do I know how many I have? I assumed that I would have to use one of these guys, and I thought I was about to lose somebody to permadeath. That's crazy. Okay, well, so I think I have to take out these German forces. So... No avoid. So a lot of times you can avoid patrols and just complete your objective as long as you're clever and try to stay away from the patrols. But in this case, no. All right, so this is set up a lot like Darkest Dungeon, only instead of, being linearly lined up, you've actually got 2 ranks. You've got 2 columns of people facing each other. You've got people in the back and people in the front. And that plays into it a little bit. It is more complicated to work out, but one thing you do get is if you're firing across from, like, if you're firing from the back towards the front or from the front towards the back, you get a flanking bonus, apparently. So one thing I've got lots of guys here all bunched up. So while I've got that, I should probably use one of my abilities that hits lots of people, like Clear Out. So this will use some heavy ammo, but I can use it to hit all 3 of these fools. So I think that's what I should do while they're still bunched up like that. And I have killed 2 of them! which was very effective. That's a very effective use of heavy ammo. Oh no, he's thrown an explosive hazard. Oh, and so that means he forced my guy to move. So now I probably can't use some of my abilities. So because I used Kristoff last time, he used some of his stamina. And so now he can't act at all if I act one more time. And his damage is greater now that he's tired. So I want to avoid using him again. Instead, let's grab somebody else. Like Martin? I haven't used him before. So I can either do controlled fire and hit... interesting. Controlled fire hits more people. But... can I hit... okay, it looks like I can't hit both of these guys at once. They're too far apart from each other. That's too bad. So maybe I'll just do normal volley, which does more damage. Hit this guy. Okay. Not so much, but that's okay. No! Ah, no! She just got hit. So one thing you'll notice up here, we've got the number of times we can move, which is equal to the number of characters you have. So you don't actually have to use each character once. You could use the same character multiple times, but you could have the same number of moves as number of characters. So because I took out 2 of their guys, they have now half the moves that I have. So there's definitely some death spirals in this. Oh, Wraith pointed out that maybe regional attrition is what I just took damage to when I lost that invisible character. That's a really good point. That's entirely possible. So let's see, Neomir. So he's got this thing called Ploy. Oh, which restores 1 point of stamina to one of his guys and removes one of these turns from the enemy side. But they don't have any turns, so I shouldn't do that. Maybe I'll save that actually for later. Maybe instead I will have her take a shot at this guy. Nope, miss. Oh, wait, I should have been concentrating my fire anyway, so whatever, that was a bad move. So, actually, yeah, maybe this guy. Okay, so let's just fire at this guy again. And are we done? Yeah, okay, so next turn. So now, I go first. So now I'm going to use Ploy to restore some of his stamina and take away one of their activations. So they only get 1 turn to my 4. Okay, so she was debuffed. And she's also... oh, she took some serious damage, so... I would have her do first aid, but why can't she do first aid? Why is this crossed out? Oh, my character was suppressed. Okay, so she can't do... so actually, maybe... oh, I didn't bring someone who can do first aid, except for her. She's my only first aid person. Well, suppressing her was a clever move, you jerks. And it looks like this guy can't do his most versatile moves when he's up in front. So what this guy should probably do then is move. So let's move him back to where he belongs. And now he can target anybody, including this guy. So he uses the more expensive ammo, but he also does significantly more damage. So that's how that works. How much health does this guy have left? 37. So no matter what, we're not going to do a ton of damage to him. So let's... if she could move, I think she can push him back, which would allow this guy to hit multiple people at once. I don't think I have a way to remove suppression, though. So I gotta wait until she recovers. Oh, did I just move him? Oh, I just moved him into the other row. Okay, I didn't realize I could do that. Cool. Okay, so now it's the next turn. I'm starting again. Now, if I wanted to use more heavy ammo, I could blow these guys up again, but that seems like a lot. Can she repel now? Okay, now she can repel. Okay, let's push this guy back. So now he's back next to his friend. Let's see if he... whoa, okay. Significant damage there. You notice that the damage was split between her and the obstacle in front of her. So she didn't take as much damage from that bomb as she would have if that thing hadn't been there. So now I can use... let's see here. Controlled fire to hit both of these guys at once, which feels efficient. He's reloading. Okay. And actually, yeah, so this guy is getting really close to dead. Before I do anything, though, they don't have any turns left, so I feel safe to have her heal herself real quick, because she's in poor shape. And then let's at least take... we can snapshot... oh, he's almost down. Stamina. So he's not going to do enough damage to take a guy out. So I think I need to use this dude so that he can definitely remove him from the table. Where was that 30 damage before, you idiot? Would have been way more useful. Okay, so again, before killing... Well, I'm not going to kill this guy immediately, so let's... Can I do something to him? I don't think... I didn't bring anyone that had really good, like... let's see, what is shared insight? Oh, yeah. So I didn't bring anyone who's really good at, like, status effects and stuff like that, which is a missed opportunity, because it would have been nice to sort of try to suppress this guy in some way. Oh, and I missed, too. What's he gonna do? Alright, well, he wasted his one turn. That's great. So now, again, I'm gonna first aid her. This is one of those games where a lot of the healing is done in combat, which means you want to do as much of it as you can while combat's still going on. There is a way to heal outside of combat, but it costs different resources. Okay, so the way to do the most damage to this guy does seem to be with the more expensive ammo. If I can avoid it, I'd like to. Alright, so now it's my next turn. Okay, let's do one of these. Take him down as far as I can. See what he does in return. He reloads. Ha ha ha! Alright. We will snapshot him twice. Oh, come on. Well, we're out of stamina. I guess we'll do this. There we go. Alright, he's down. So we get, we killed 4 guys, we got a certain amount of XP, and now we proceed. So, that was one fight. So this map screen is kind of like navigating the dungeon. Oh, we can loot a bunch of stuff. I got flares, I've got some more short ammo, good, because that's mostly what I used. A commendation I can use to give people experience. Alright, so this is basically like exploring the dungeon. There's lots of things here. Some of them are dangerous. Some of them are opportunities, like this. Only instead of just exploring sort of a little like node map, I'm exploring a big, flat 2D space. So an ammunition crate. Yeah, got some stuff. Sweet. So I just got these little arrows near my mover telling me what direction might be good to go. I don't know which of these is are actually my objectives and which ones are optional. Like, okay, that looks like Germans. That's also Germans. But are they the Germans I'm supposed to fight? Whoa. Okay, so what is... I don't know what this I means. Can we find out what this I means? Okay, so I wonder if defeating this German patrol is going to be enough, or if I needed to do something else. Okay. So, let's see here. I don't know which of these guys are more dangerous. Let's grab the 2 on the front line. Oh, I only hit with 1. But it did a lot of damage. Oh! I took a bunch of hits. Okay, let's, So this guy only has 10 left. There's a decent chance of this guy doing enough damage to him. There's also a good chance of this guy killing him. Yes, just barely. Okay, so took 1 out, which means they've got less turns. Oh, drew me out. Ah, pulled me forward. So that I can't do that move anymore. That's okay. Okay, so nobody here is more vulnerable. Okay, so this is the guy with the least hit points. So let's just go after him next. Eliminating an entire person is always is always a good move in a game like this, where having fewer people is a major disadvantage. Usually you just want to go after the person who's the most vulnerable to dying and just take them out fast, even if the others are more dangerous. All right, so I can single shot again. Take out a lot of that guy's health. Glad she's behind this cover. And then I think... Oh, come on. Niewemir. Oh, yikes. Okay, that guy is dangerous. Well, let's still take this guy out. Because that still means this guy can't move as often either. Yeah, this guy is dangerous. He's got slightly more hit points, but I think I might actually focus fire on him anyway. Though, let's see here. These guys... Okay, they're not next to each other, so actually... So let's see here. So let's take her. Have her use repelling fire on him. And now when I want to shoot them both together, I totally can. So like this. So it's an interesting... So when I'm using that move that hits multiple people... I'm doing less damage to each person, but I'm doing a lot of damage to the group as a whole. And so the fight will end faster, but no one person will be taken out as quickly, which is kind of a... it's a questionable decision. Let's see here. Can I hit both of these? Yeah. So let's... Oh, miss. Come on. I really should start healing my folks. Though this might be my last combat here, so... That's a little, puts me in a little bit of a better situation, but... Okay, so this, yeah. Let's do another volley. Slowly whittling these guys down. Oh, and I can do one more thing. Well, let's, can I move this guy? Nope, he doesn't have enough stamina to act. Okay, well, let's do some first aid then on herself. Just doing nothing but healing herself, but she needs it. And now it's the start of the next turn. So... Yes. That's why I kept attacking with this guy, even though he's using expensive bullets. And I don't want him in the front lines, because he's valuable. Alright. Unfortunately, I don't think I have any moves here that can, like, pull people around either. So who besides Chris, what's his name? I forgot what his name is. Who besides this guy is going to do the most damage? So she can do 11 to 18 to him, right? She might be the best. 9 to 14, 8 to 16. Yeah, so she is going to be the best. Well, if she hits, she's going to be the best. And then let's do some first aid. I mean, again, on herself. Well, she's got more protection. So even though she's got fewer hit points than this guy, she should definitely heal him. And then... I guess I should move him off the front lines. Stop taking all the damage for yourself. You're being selfish. What? Just swap these two. Now she can't do her very damaging shot now. That's why. Alright, so it looks like he might actually be... Oh, but is he suppressed? He's suppressed. I wish there was something on him that made it really clear that he was suppressed. But let's grab this guy instead. Slowly whittling this dude down. He had a lot of hit points up front. All right, and then let's move this guy back a step. Oh, he's suppressed. That's right. Well, I guess she... Oh, wait, she's still got clear shot. Oh, I thought she... It's repelling fire she has to be in the front for. She still has a more damaging ability. Okay, cool. All right. So, victory. But was that just a random encounter and not one of the main ones we had to do? Let's see here. We can loot them. Oh, we've got limited space in our inventory. Well, I'll just decide that's fine. Oh, that's why we had a separate step for looting them, is because it was going to overfill us. Okay. Oh, yeah, so, okay, we are done. We've completed 2 fights with Germans, and we got the complete mission thing here. We can goof around here for as long as we want to, at least until we run out of action points. If we wanted to get into another fight, we could, but we can complete the mission. So now you can see that we are victorious, but these characters have taken damage. Basically, you are reduced at the end of a fight, even if you've been healing multiple times, at the end of a fight, you're reduced to the lowest health value you've had. And so this is sort of a rough estimation of how hurt these guys are. And I don't know why they translated it into hearts instead of just into their normal health bars, but whatever. Got some weapons and some things. Cool. Awesome. So Mr. Sourfapple came in and is like, who turned Darkest Dungeon into World War II? That's basically exactly what this is. This is Warsaw, and it is effectively Darkest Dungeon set in the later days of World War II as people in Warsaw are trying to fight off both the Nazis and the Soviets, and are inevitably going to fail. And you just try to last as long as you can. So after each mission, you have like a story event. So this is my summary of what's been going on. And then, let's see here, the Fleeting Estate. A late spinster's apartment has been used as one of the dead drop sites for the uprising, and reports are coming in that the Nazis are planning an offensive in that area, possibly even cutting it off altogether. Before that happens, Command feels it would be best to act now and sweep the apartment for anything that could otherwise provide the enemy with problematic information. So I should either prepare a team to scrub the apartment at once, or sending anyone right now is impossible. Well, let's go scrub it. Okay, so we gained momentum for the uprising, but we lost supplies by sending that mission. I'm not actually sure what uprising momentum is for, so I don't know what I just gained out of that. I'm still figuring this game out. But anyway. Day 20. Some number. I'm not sure what the number is. Yeah, Wraith 108 calls this Darkest Dungeon with even eviler enemies. And given that the enemies of Darkest Dungeon are effectively Cthulhu, that's saying something about the people that were invading Poland at this point. Oh, Wraith wonders if the dead enemy symbols at the end of the wrap-up are different for fighting Soviets. I'm not certain. I don't remember well enough from the last time I fought Soviets. Okay, so now if I look at these characters that I brought with me, you can see that they are injured. If we go check out the nurse has got all of my wounded people in the hospital. So I can bring those people out again, but they're going to be at a disadvantage right from the outset. Or I can leave them here and just use different characters in my next mission. So for a while, before I had built up these recruits, I was really worried, that I was going to not have enough people, which is a problem I had in Darkest Dungeon a lot. But it seems to be going okay so far. So let's look at more missions. So as you can see, Praga, which was the one that had 2 attrition, now has 3 because I didn't pursue the mission there. So let's see what missions we have available now. So nothing in Praga, but we've got something in Zolibors, something in Wola, and something in Mokotów. So, let's see here. So this one is going to be 12 a day, 10 a day. Actually, before we do this, I should talk about... can I back out? Yes, I can. There's a few more places I should check out in here. So, not the Codex. The Arsenal. Okay, yeah, so... I've actually got more long ammo now than I had when I went in on that last mission, I believe. I think I've got a little bit more. So I'm making a profit on long ammo, which is good, because I'm kind of low on it. I'm really high on short ammo. So I can just keep using that willy-nilly. These are the guns that I have that I'm not using, each of which has sort of different, possibilities of what it can do. I can swap these in to my characters to give them different abilities. I can repair weapons, so like I've got a damaged heavy weapon here and a damaged SMG. I can use 55 supplies or 130 supplies to repair those. Yeah, let's repair these and see what my options are here. So that's a lot of cash that I just spent. I can also sell and buy ammo and things like that. Like I haven't been using really my I haven't really been using these camo vests and so camo ponchos, and so I'm gonna sell a few of these. Oh, revealing points of interest. I should totally do that. Okay, so I made a little bit of money that way. But let's go look at our characters now. So, okay, so who am I going to bring in the next mission? So I'm not going to bring Christoph. That was his name. I'm not going to bring Christoph. And I'm not going to bring Jadwiga. I'm not going to bring Martin. I'm going to let them all recover. But I might bring Franek. And I might bring Kazimierz. So he's got... Oh, he's got an LMG. And he's got a Kar 98K. I wonder if... Can I switch out his Kar 98K for one of these new weapons? So, it looks like not. Does he have limits on which weapons he can use? Like, let's look at Franek. I know I've got an extra pistol. Okay, yeah, so Franek is allowed to use Molotov cocktails and pistols, but I can change which pistols he's using. So right now he's got Pot Shot and Stinger, which causes bleed with his current gun. And it looks like if I switch to this one, it's Suppression and bleed that he would get. So suppression is nice. He's got to be right on the front lines to use it. So this is purely for frontline people. His Molotov stuff he can use mostly for the front lines too. So let's try giving him a different pistol, just because that's interesting. So now he's... Oh wait, did I do that wrong? Do I have to like click and click? There we go. Now I've swapped it. Okay, so now he's got the TT-33. And just for fun, let's go check off Christoph and see what was this other... Oh, because so here's a different... So he's got a Piat. The Panzerfaust does a little bit more damage. It's got Clear Out and Shield Breaker. This one's got Shield Breaker and Incendiary Strike. So it causes burn. So it does regular damage. It does more damage than Clear Out in a smaller area and sets them on fire. So that's an interesting trade-off, right? Like they're doing a good job of sort of using the geometry of their fighting space to like say, okay, so I hit 2 squares and they're on fire and they're taking more damage, or I can hit more squares in a line with the Piat. Yeah, so that's interesting. So anyway, so that's kind of how character management goes. Oh, another aspect of character management actually is you can level up their skills with XP. Wait, there it is, experience. So, like, for instance, Franek has got 1,500 XP, so I can buy some of these abilities, like Retrieve, which is obtain ammunition on kill. Ammunition varies with enemy type. Okay, so if he kills an enemy with this 15 to 23 damage, he gets to take some of their ammo. Since I've been worrying about ammo, I think I'm actually going to buy this. So there isn't a ton of feedback when you click things. Like, you click stuff and it just gets a check mark. There's not a, like, explosion of, you got, XP or whatever. But yeah, so he's got an additional ability now. Okay, let's see here. So I kind of think, so he makes people so they can't act, only on the front lines. This one can hit anybody and it bleeds them. This one hits everybody and it sets them on fire. But it costs heavy ammo. Do I give him up as a bandage guy? I've got other first aid people. Yeah, why don't I swap in this skill here, Retrieve, because I want to try it out. So you can only carry a certain number of skills with you. You can have skills, you can't use them all. So this has ammo 6. This one does less damage. Okay, right. 3 random enemies. Whereas this one is this also 3 random enemies? Yeah, 3. Okay, anyway. I'm noodling around here too much. Let's get back to the mission. So Wraith is wondering if Fronic actually gets shot and killed because he's a child, and that's a pretty dark thing to depict a child soldier fighting in a war. It's not unusual. We had that stuff in like Les Mis and things like that. It's an old tradition, but it's still strange. It's unusual. People are very sensitive about that kind of thing. Mr. Sourfapple is suggesting that he's actually more surprised that a child might die in a video game for non-story reasons. Like, you can have a child die for story reasons, and you plan the whole thing out to make sure you handle it very sensitively. But having a child who could just die because children die sometimes feels pretty dark. So ideally, 2 or 5 will be where I want to go. So this is plus 10 today. Plus 12 is great. Assassinate a high-value Nazi officer in 3 days. Versus wreck a Panzer IV. Okay, so I don't want to go after the Panzer unless I have Christoph, because Christoph is my heavy weapons guy. So let's not do this one. Let's do the high-value Nazi officer and deploy. Okay, so we're definitely bringing Fronic. Where's Fronic? There you are. Fronic is going on the front lines, right? Because that's... Wait. Unfortunately, you have to, like, have him back here to analyze him, I think. So, yeah. So debilitating shadows only if he's on the front lines. Let's stick him on the front lines. And then... They make me put the child on the front lines, right? That's crazy. Let's definitely grab some people who have, like, yeah, Joita has healing ability, and she can be anywhere. So, I don't know, let's stick her here for now, I guess. Kazmir's needs to be in the back. And I guess Bartosz is also a healer. Let's send Joita up to be at least up front with Fronic, so she's drawing at least some of the fire. And okay, so unfortunately I can't double check now what ammo everybody uses. I think these folks might all be long ammo except Fronic. What does Joita use? Yeah, everyone here uses long ammo, I think. Kazmir's? What do you use, Kazmir's? Yeah, this is everybody using long ammo. That feels like a bad plan. Wait, why did I grab Bronislava? Wait. No, Joita. That's who I wanted. Joita uses short ammo. Okay, that makes me more confident. Okay, we'll do this. We'll do it this way. And go. Yeah, so Mr. Sourfapple points out that usually dead children are a no-no in games, and actually, some games will depict children, like Bethesda games will sometimes depict children and not allow you to kill them. That is definitely, a step forward from, was it Fallout 1, where there was an entire building full of orphans, and and one of the missions you could get sent on was to kill the person running the orphanage, and if you do that, all of the feral children attack you at once, and your only choice is to mow down an entire room full of children. And I was trying to do an evil playthrough and taking all the evil sides of all of the quests, and I literally stopped my playthrough at that point. Like, I murdered all the children, and then I was like, well, that's the conclusion of that game. This character murdered all the children, and now the story is over, and I don't care what happens after that. So... yeah. Anyway, so let's poke around here. So we've got some thin arrows pointing me in this direction. We're trying to find this Nazi officer to assassinate. Oh, nope, get out of there. Okay, if those guys detect me, that's a fight I don't have to have. And I only want to have the fights that I have to have. Which is pretty... They do a pretty good job of mechanically motivating you to think the way these people would have to think. Which, oh, no. Okay, what's this? It's like, in real life, you do want to avoid unnecessary conflicts. Especially if you've got a scrappy band of ragtag people. You don't want to just get into fights randomly because it's fun. It's not fun. Surveying a blasted tenement house, your team uncovers a miraculously preserved stash of documents. They belong to the pre-war German landlord of the building, and chief among them are the deed to the plot that the tenement is standing on, and a small bill for savings in foreign currencies. You recall the name of the landlord as a recognizable figure in the district, and you're reasonably certain you know someone who could locate him if required. Oh, what? I accidentally clicked something. Ah! What? Intend on using some of your connections. You send someone with the express purpose of delivering the documents to their old owner, that is, as soon as time allows. Okay, so improve morale, reduce uprising momentum, because I guess I'm returning it instead of using it myself, so that was a trade-off that I made. Is this the person's name? Is their name Gluten? Is Warsaw now gluten-free? I don't know. Anyway. Okay, so, oh, haha. Here's my yellow little detector here that's telling me that the Nazi officer is up this way. So we didn't see these little yellow map markers before because literally any of the fights would have satisfied the requirements. But now I've got a very specific requirement. So what I want to do is make sure I'm approaching the Nazi officer in such a way that I'm not going to hit any of the other events. Okay, here we go. Target spotted, shoot to kill. Okay. So there's 4 of these guys. These folks are in front of the obstacles instead of behind them. What is the best thing for you? So doing a lot of damage to a bunch of them is an economical way to fight them. Taking somebody out, like taking this guy with the least health out quickly, is also a really valuable strategy. How much damage can I do in one shot to any one person? It looks like 18, 16, 14, 24, not too bad, but it costs heavy ammo. 12, 24 to 3 in a row, and we've got 3 in a row. So let's do that. Let's take these guys all down by the maximum damage, even though it costs me a bunch of my most expensive and valuable ammo type. And I'm not attacking the one guy who actually is the most killable. So that was a questionable decision, but now he actually has the highest hit points. So I've just taken that decision off the table for the future, at least. I could have her heal herself, or now if I have Kazimierz keep doing that, so he's got a lower chance to hit now that he's down on stamina. So maybe what I should do is use a different expensive ammo type and randomly damage 3 of these guys in a big way. Okay, so one of the things I got was the oil barrel, which doesn't help. But some of these guys are really low on health now. This guy is super low. So I can use one of my less damaging abilities, like Snapshot, to take him out. And there we go. So he's gone. They effectively lose a turn, not before doing a bunch of damage to me. And I think she's... Okay, she and Frank are both bleeding, which is bad. She's worse off than he is, though, so she's going to bandage herself up, and that also removes bleed. But now that means that Frank takes extra damage. And the barrel's on fire. Okay, so I'm nervous. So theoretically, okay, Kazimierz, he's back up at full stamina. Mowdown could take out some guys. Yes, it could. Okay, we're doing really well now. They're down to 1 turn. And so now, so before I take this guy out, I can heal Frank. And I don't think I'm going to take him out in a single turn anyway. I think I'll be very lucky if I do that. So I'm going to heal both of them. And then use my last turn. I'm at 12 damage. Oh, this hits 2 people. Okay, got it. Well, actually, maybe more damage, smaller area. Not going to take him all the way down. What other? Oh, debilitating shot. Oh, he can't. This guy in the front? He's not in the front. Dang. What about Stinger? Make him bleed. Okay, so now next turn. Looks like looks like we completed this thing. So I think we're gonna get some bonus XP for completing this. You can see actually if I move my face, you can tell that, yeah, I got a little check mark here, which means I dealt 124 out of 110 damage in a single turn. So I think I'm gonna get bonus XP for having done that. Lose no more than 40 health, can be healed. So far, my health lost is 31 because I've been healing. So as long as I keep healing and finish the battle with no more than 31 health lost across my team, I'm good. So 12 more damage. Is there something I can do that will definitely do 12 damage to this guy? Stinger, probably, but it might miss. Oh, my accuracy is really high, though. Actually, 90%. Absolutely! That's how this works! Just like the guy who was doing the Baldur's Gate demo kept missing 90% shots. There we go. Oh yeah, so Mr. Salfrappel is saying that it seems like there's character class in this game, but he can't quite tell how they're supposed to work. I can fill you in on that in just a little bit. I went through it a little bit earlier, but we can talk about it a little bit more. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. We're victorious! And yeah, so we, looks like we succeeded all of our extra goals, so we get extra XP. And now we're headed back to the wrap-up. Oh, wait, yeah, so first we loot everything. So if I wanted to stay here, I've got 52 action points left. My team's in decent shape. If I want to, I can... Oh, no! But why would I want to do that? That was a stupid move. So I just stumbled into a German ambush. So let's see how we do with this. They are not lined up nearly as well for my mow down moves as the last group was. Light up is still probably a good idea. Of course, I do the most damage to the barrel, of all things. Uh-oh, combat boosters. What? No. That is nonsense. We don't want to do that. Let's see here. So that guy is pretty killable. How much damage can I do with mow down? I can do up to... Oh, full auto I can do up to... I can't do... Unless I crit. If I crit, maybe I can do enough to take this guy down. But probably not much better than that. I've gotten him close. Almost anybody can kill him now. She's not doing that great. Oh, this is what I should do. Right? Oh, it switches him. I thought maybe it would move him into the empty slot, but it switches the two characters. No. Oh, it just destroyed my cover? Okay, that's cool. And now he's dead for being on fire. Awesome. Didn't need to do any more to him. Okay, now these guys are lined up so that mow down can hit them both. Unless it misses, it theoretically can hit them both. And the barrel's still on fire because why not? Okay, so I'm really worried about Joita. I think I should heal her before she's exposed to too much more danger. Even though that means... Yeah. I mean, he didn't do quite enough damage to take her out that time, but I think that was still a good move. Okay, let's do another mow down. Which puts these guys within potential defeat territory. Yes, they missed. Okay, so Frantic. 12 to 18 damage on a guy with 11 hit points. Dead. And now, okay, yeah, I've got more people than them. Frantic can't move, though. Joita, how are you doing? 9 to 14 damage. I would love to completely take the guy out. But I'm so low on ammo. See, it's nice to be thinking about ammo right now. Like, I could mow down this guy and definitely take him off the board within reason. I guess, yeah, I still got an aim penalty, but it's not that bad. I think I'm still not going to, though, because I'm worried about having not enough long ammo to help in future missions, and so I can't make that decision. But now I've lined these guys up, so maybe mow down will be more economical now. Or maybe full auto. Yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, but full auto only applies to the front lines. So this, because it'll damage two guys, that actually feels like a better use of ammo. Because it'll take one off the board and severely damage the other one. But I think Casimir's is done for the rest of the time here. So let's stinger this guy. Oh, he's resisted bleeding. I can stinger him again, but before I do that... In fact, I'm gonna be going first next turn anyway. I'm gonna have her heal herself twice. Get her back up into fighting shape. And then I get first turn. And he's dead. All right. Well, that was a completely unnecessary fight. Okay. I did use I was careful with my long gun ammo. And, oh, okay. Well, because I defeated that guy, those people, whoever they are, I can loot some stuff. Okay, now let's get the crap out of here. I don't want to get into any unnecessary fights again. All right, return to hideout. Okay, so now we're done with the mission. Again, we'll have our story event. Word reaches you that due to the waning numbers of the uprising, some helping hands are required for basic tasks beyond the fight. Cooking, orderly duties, sewing resistance armbands. Any aid with those would be more than welcome. Okay, so I've got a character with the dexterity trait, which unlocked this ability that I wouldn't have otherwise. So I'm going to assign somebody, or maybe it's not that unlocked. I mean, oh no, this is the ability that it depends on. It doesn't mean it's unlocked by that ability. It means that it's going to use someone's dexterity. And none of my characters have particularly good dexterity, so whatever. Get some momentum, yay. Okay, proceed. Day 23. So 3 days passed. This random number appears. Is that the random seed for the next thing? Is it? I don't know what that is. Okay, so let's check the nurse. Okay, so except for Jadwiga, the other characters that I had in the hospital all got better. She was down to below 25% of her health, and so that's why she's taking longer. But looks like all of my wounded characters will be back up and running in 3 days, which is usually the kind of the minimum duration of most of these missions anyway. So I'll have everybody back at the end of the next mission, which is good, except for whoever gets wounded on the next mission. As far as character classes go, we were talking about these characters. So yeah, so basically we've got these 5 characters, each of which represents a unique character class, and they bring with them special abilities. Like I think so. What they bring with them are these yellow abilities, and some of these gray abilities. These are the ones that are kind of unique to the character. So each of my random recruits, these folks, each of them gets one of these extra bonus abilities, and then they get whatever their gun gives them. But these folks, each of them comes with sort of a unique thing, like shared insight. Apply all positive effects that affect the turncoat, whatever. So I've got this experience thing where I can buy more abilities for this guy. He's got 932 XP, so I can't, except for this one. Increase resilience against abilities of armored and heavy weapon enemies by 20%. Okay, so if we're going up against a tank or a guy with a bunch of grenades, this guy can be tougher against them. So that's an ability I get. I've got 9 commendations. I forgot about this. This is a mechanic where you get a piece of loot called a commendation that lets you award a bunch of extra experience to a character who doesn't have it. So you can get somebody up over a line. Like, let's see here, critical chance up, for instance. This is like a passive thing. Or let's see here, bundle blast. Oh wow! So if he's using explosives or something, 2 random enemies, tons of damage, and penetrates armor. And okay, anyway, point is, I've got these abilities that I can spend. So basically, each class has a particular set of these bonus abilities here that they get. They're sort of color coded to match the class that they have. But then you've got basically one of each class, and then beyond them, you have to fill in with sort of the generic recruit class or generic. I don't know what we call these guys. But they're sort of extra bonus recruits. They kind of got their own class, and they're just very generic, and all they do is like one special ability, one of 3 possible special abilities. But yeah, let me recruit a new one so you can see it. So basically when you recruit, volunteers, that's what these guys are called. So you choose, so I get to choose which of these abilities I want for my volunteer. I've got 2 that heal already. I've got one that does this and one that does this. Maybe I'll grab one that does this. You can choose which kind of weapon they use. So I just realized I've got a lot of people that fire Kar 98Ks and a lot of people that fire pistols. I don't have a lot of people that fire heavy weapons of this type. So maybe I should grab somebody to give the Panzerfaust to. So let me do that. So now I've got Cyril. Cyril's my new one. So now I've got Cyril here. And yeah, so I can probably equip him. I'm hoping that I can equip him with something other than the Piat. Or maybe now that I've got him with a Piat, I can decide to give my Panzerfaust. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So the Piat is, I think, maybe the sort of the generic thing everybody gets. But now I've got a Panzerfaust on Christoph, which means he's got Shield Breaker. Oh wait, skills. That's what I want. What I want is Burn, not Shield Breaker. And so this it hits a smaller area of people, but it does more damage and sets them on fire. And so, like Ranoth Cord pointed out, being on fire is an awesome death. So there we go. So anyway, I'm out of time, but that's Warsaw. So it kind of scratches the same itch as Darkest Dungeon. It's got a very different sort of vibe to it. It's got a very different setting and subject matter. So it's kind of like, maybe it's partway between Darkest Dungeon and this war of mine, in that you're sort of fighting a battle against attrition in the middle of a war that feels kind of true to life and historical, and it's kind of dark and depressing. But yeah, and the gameplay obviously is very inspired by Darkest Dungeon, with some interesting new wrinkles added to it. Because it's based on reality, though, it's kind of limited in how sort of fantastical the abilities can be. Most of the abilities feel, they're trying to sort of ground it at least a little bit in what actually seems like what you could do with the limited supplies and tools that are at the hands of a World War II soldier. So you don't do as many weird fantastical things with your abilities that you do in Darkest Dungeon. So Darkest Dungeon has got a lot of kind of variety going for it because of the setting. But then this setting is also just kind of compelling in its own right for other reasons. So yeah. Anyway. Oh, so Rixif asks, what happens if one of your guys dies? I don't know. I haven't lost a character yet. And I don't want to. So I haven't found out. What I assume, what I feel like the vibe of the game is communicating to me, is that you will lose that character forever, and that you could potentially whittle yourself down to just volunteers and eventually fail. I don't know if that's actually true, though. That's just the impression that I've gotten. There definitely are, things that warn you that you might lose a character if you do something. So it feels like that's probably the case. Wraith108 figured out what that number that ticks up is. He says it's probably the population of Warsaw. That makes sense. So, like, as the fighting is going on, that number is going to keep changing and kind of being a little bit dark. Anyway, so I'm going to, because I got to get out of here and prepare for the State of Decay 2 stream, I'm going to scooch over here, and we are going to... Whoa. Okay, it looks like I've got autofocus on. Sorry about that. Anyway, I'm going to put some videos over here at the end of the YouTube video. I'm going to put a subscribe button up, and that was Warsaw. So if you're interested in that, go check it out. And I'm going to go work on the other stream that I do. The much more professional stream that I do.